Imagine a silent snow falling from a cloudless sky, dark, gritty, and invisible to the naked eye. It doesn't melt, and it doesn't feel cold. Instead, it carries enough energy to tear through your cellular DNA within minutes of contact. The blast was the loud, violent warning, but the fallout is the silent predator that hunts across continents long after the fire has died down. This is the moment where most people give up hope, but it's exactly where the science of survival begins. Before we unlock the mathematics of this invisible threat, make sure you are subscribed to Know All Aspects on YouTube and following us on Facebook. In a nuclear crisis, information is the only currency that matters, and our blueprint is designed to keep you ahead of the curve. Like, comment, and share this video. Knowledge is the only resource that grows when shared, and your share could be the reason someone survives the unthinkable today. Welcome to Episode 3 of the Atomic Blueprint. If you are watching this, you have survived the fire, the shock waves, and the invisible electromagnetic pulse. But as the mushroom cloud stabilizes in the upper atmosphere, a new phase begins, the descent of radioactive dust. Fallout is vaporized earth and debris sucked into the fireball, bonding with fission products like iodine-131 and cesium-137. The most dangerous misconception in nuclear survival is the belief that fallout spreads equally in all directions. In reality, the physics of a fallout plume is dictated by the vertical wind profile, which is far more complex than the breeze you feel at ground level. We must analyze the cigar-shaped geometry of the fallout zone. While the immediate blast damage is roughly circular, the fallout pattern typically forms a long, narrow strip stretching downwind. This is because the mushroom cloud can reach altitudes of 60,000 feet, where high-altitude jet streams move at speeds exceeding 100 miles per hour. Even if the wind at the surface is calm, the radioactive plume in the stratosphere could be racing toward your location. Understanding hot zone mapping is critical. The intensity of the fallout is highest along the center line of this plume and decreases as you move toward the edges, creating a crosswind gradient. If you are in the path, moving just a few miles perpendicular to the wind can reduce your exposure by over 90%. In a post-EMP world, you will not have weather apps. You must rely on visual estimation. If you see the mushroom cloud, watch the cap. If it tilts toward you, you are in the direct line of fire. Another factor is atmospheric scrubbing or washout. Rain or snow during a nuclear event is a survival nightmare. Raindrops act as magnets for radioactive particles, dragging them out of the sky and concentrating them in the soil and on rooftops. A light rain can turn a moderately radioactive area into a lethal hotspot. You must treat any precipitation following a nuclear event as liquid poison. The geometry of the plume also creates shadow zones behind mountains where dust may be less intense, but turbulent pockets can also create dust drifts in unexpected places. Survival is a game of three-dimensional geometry. You must visualize the wind as a conveyor belt of isotopes. By understanding the physics of plume movement, you can identify the safest path of escape. The wind is a messenger of death, but if you can read the message, you can stay one step ahead of the dust. Radioactive fallout is a ticking clock, and the math of its decay is your greatest ally. In this section, we break down the rule of sevens, a fundamental principle of nuclear physics. This rule states that for every seven-fold increase in time after the detonation, the radiation intensity decreases by a factor of 10. To visualize this, if the radiation level is 1,000 Roentgens per hour at 1 hour after the blast, a level that causes death in minutes, it will drop to 100 Roentgens after 7 hours. After 49 hours, roughly 2 days, it drops to 10 Roentgens. After 2 weeks, it falls to only 1 Roentgen per hour. This rapid decay is the reason why sheltering in place for the first 48 hours is the absolute golden rule of survival. During this window, short-lived isotopes are emitting intense, high-energy gamma rays that cause acute radiation syndrome. By staying behind heavy shielding during this 48-hour window, you avoid the most lethal energy spike. However, you must also understand cumulative dose. Radiation damage to the body is additive. Even if the hourly rate has dropped, staying outside for long periods can still lead to a lethal total dose. You must track your exposure using a dosimeter or a Geiger counter. Without these tools, you are blind to the mathematical reality. We must also discuss the isotope profile. While the rule of sevens applies to the total mixture, individual isotopes have their own half-lives. Iodine-131 has a half-life of 8 days and targets the thyroid. Cesium-137 and strontium-90 have half-lives of 30 years and can contaminate the environment for decades. This means that while the acute phase ends after a few weeks, the chronic phase lasts for a lifetime. Survival math is about balancing the short-term risk of high-dose exposure against the long-term risk of internal contamination. You must monitor the decay curve with absolute discipline. Emerging from your shelter too early because the math feels right is a fatal mistake. You must wait until your instruments confirm that the Roentgens per hour have decayed to a level the human body can tolerate. The physics of decay provides the blueprint for your exit strategy. If you respect the math will respect your life. This is the calculated patience of the survivor. Stay disciplined, keep your stopwatch running, and let the atoms burn themselves out. The invisible fire will eventually fade, but only for those who wait. As external radiation levels decay, the threat shifts from the external to the internal. This is the most insidious stage of fallout physics, the transition from gamma rays outside your walls to radioactive particles inside your body. While shielding protects you from gamma radiation, it does nothing to stop alpha and beta emitters if you inhale or ingest them. There is no halving thickness of concrete to protect your lungs or stomach from the inside. This is the physics of bioaccumulation. Certain isotopes mimic stable elements your body needs. Strontium-90 mimics calcium and is absorbed into your bones, leading to leukemia. Iodine-131 concentrates in the thyroid. This is why ingestion protocols are a matter of life and death. Every piece of food and every drop of water must be from a sealed, airtight source. You must assume all open water, like lakes or rivers, is contaminated. Filtering water through a cloth will not remove chemical isotopes. Only specialized distillation or reverse osmosis can truly purify it. You must also master personal decontamination. If you must leave your shelter, your clothing acts as a dust trap. When you return, you must have a buffer zone or a gray room where you shed your outer layers before entering the clean living area. Every grain of dust you bring inside is a potential internal emitter. Washing your skin with water is essential, but you must never scrub hard, as abrasion can push radioactive particles into your bloodstream through microcuts. Understanding the biology of radiation is the final piece of the survival blueprint. The physics of the atom doesn't stop at your skin. It enters your cells and interferes with your very existence. Identifying the latent phase of radiation sickness is also key, a period where you may feel better before the true illness begins. Staying hydrated and maintaining nutrition during this phase can be the difference between recovery and systemic failure. If this deep dive into the silent descent has empowered you, please like, comment, and share this video to help others understand the invisible. Subscribe to Know All Aspects on YouTube and follow us on Facebook to continue this masterclass in resilience. In Episode 4, we will move from the dust in the air to the sanctuary of the ground, the urban bunker. We will learn how to turn your home into a fortress against the subatomic. Knowledge is your only armor. Stay grounded, stay vigilant.